What is nostalgia? An illness? A feeling? An escape from our mundane reality? We all experience the "oh, how things have changed" thoughts. Could be a shift in culture, or maybe they just don't make them like they used to. Hey Arnold was an animated series that premiered on Nickelodeon on October 7th, 1996. At the time, I was 5 years old. Too young to remember the first time I watched it, but just young enough to grow up with it for a decade or more. But what makes this show special is not Hitchcockian suspense, it's not Game of Thrones cliffhanger endings, it's not even outrageously funny, it's just... well, we'll get there. This essay is going to make a lot more sense if you can see where I'm coming from, so kick back, relax, and let me tell you the legend of what an average afternoon was like as a kid in the 90s. We would get on our bikes and our parents would tell us nothing but, "Be home by dinner." We would go door to door like a juvenile vacuum salesman, rounding up our squad one by one to play football or release or just cause the regular ruckus around the neighborhood. The sun would set so fast that we'd start catching footballs with our face. So we'd pedal home, racing the street lights to our room temperature meat and potatoes, and the best part? The only thing my mom cared about was if I had washed my hands before I had set my plate or not. There were no iPhones, there was no Facebook, there were no questions asked. I was free. And that's the aesthetic Hey Arnold was going for. On the surface, at least. The parents were always busy, mom and dad were always working or not entirely in the picture. What makes it appreciably greater is that it was never afraid to push deeper than that, so deep and cavernous that it actually gets pretty dark. I recently revisited the show and watched through the entire discography to fuel some inspiration for this channel, and right away, I realized the majority of the episodes were considerably more depressing than I had remembered. The characters in the show aren't just your typical run-of-the-mill dorks. In fact, they're often quite damaged. Arnold, the main character, is a football-headed 9-year-old portrayed as always being courageous by doing the right thing and making level-headed decisions, but it's frequently implied that his do-gooding is to just help fill the hole in his heart left behind by his parents' unintentional abandonment. Episodically, the show paints dozens of characters, both children's and adults, in strokes of everything from bullying to extreme poverty to many, many other less fortunate positions. Plots simultaneously revolve around disappointment and then conclude with a tiny chin-up resolution on how to keep moving forward after life kicks you in the face. Whether it be the wholesome outcast pigeon man deciding to pack up his entire life and move because some incompetent kid smashed everything he ever cared about, or Helga's nanny realizing that Helga was undoubtedly emotionally damaged beyond repair. It rarely ends on an entirely positive note. And I don't think a show with Hey Arnold's tones and messages would even make it onto a network for a young audience today. We got lucky. It shined brightly during an era when cartoons didn't rely on their addictively fast-paced animations and vibrant randomness. They were about life. They took the time to show you why you shouldn't judge a book by its cover by giving us a look inside whomever is causing the problems in that episode, rather than just telling us not to do it. But how the hell does it still resonate with me 20 years later? The term nostalgia was coined in the 1700s by Swiss physician Johannes Hofer while he was treating homesick mercenary soldiers. They were restless, weak, and unmotivated to work. The suffix algia means pain, and the prefix, in this case nost, refers to coming home or homecoming. At the time, however, their extreme case during field operations weren't taken lightly. They were examined for having brain disorders, and this defined nostalgia in a horrible way. Fast forward a few hundred years, nostalgia no longer carries the same magnitude of stigma as some nasty neurological disease, but more so a temporary state of mind that has continued to expand away from homesickness to a general longing or reflection of your past. Think about it this way. When you're feeling nostalgic, it's not typically putting you in the bad mood. It's something that occurs to cope with pre-existing sadness. It actually increases our overall mood momentarily by revisiting rewarding personal experiences and times that were meaningful to us, times that defined who we are today. It's no surprise that I have the tendencies to dwell, and I'm sure if you've made it this far into the rant, you probably do as well. I have already lost count of how many times I've felt confused finding myself watching videos of my old bands practicing together or vlogs I made when YouTube was still a fetus version of what we see today. It pulls me away from my monotonous cycle of everyday life to analyze where am I, who am I, and how the hell did I end up here? And this little moment is special because that's when the magic happens. The way I feel, the closeness to myself, is intensified by recalling things I've been through since the good old days and how there's been so much to appreciate and continue to look forward to. Before I know it, I've picked up my guitar and begun to see what songs I can still play by heart. Everything I love about nostalgia, the small time I step away from the present and isolate myself to think, the endearing journey I experience reevaluating nuanced parts of my life that I've come to cherish. This unique sensation somehow feeling both poignant and pleasant at the same time. Hey Arnold is filled to the brim with these magical little moments, and they alter the tone of the episodes into something so unique and reverential. Even with the short 12-minute run times, we have the opportunity to pull up a seat beside the characters in scenes where they too are just thinking about life, and cue the brilliant soundtracks of smooth jazz orchestrating the situation masterfully, as if time itself slowed down to conjure a moment of silence for us. We take a deep breath and become sheathed in a warm spread of self-reflection and develop a general understanding of our current problematic situation. An exit plan. Thoughts buzz from our ears to our anxious chests, vibrating chills all the way to our toes. And seconds feel like hours, hours feel like days until the tension breaks. And we find ourselves right where we left off, except feeling different. And that feeling right there, when we've come back to our senses, feeling like we've time traveled, is exactly what made me want to somehow put it into words. To quote the late, great Marceline the Vampire Queen, everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes. It's in this instance, it's up to you to accept the changes and keep rolling with the punches. The trick is to let it ground you, but not weigh you down. That's my advice to you. Even as children in the 90s, we were being taught empathy at levels we couldn't quite comprehend, but we could feel it. And it's so vital, especially early on, to learn how to seek for the answers we're looking for within ourselves, rather than expect it to be provided from others. That starts with individualism and assurance. Once we are capable of self-acceptance, we are more capable of providing for others too. Watching our favorite characters struggle in those darker moments of the show, we knew instinctively that the best thing we could ever offer to a friend in need is patience in our company while they work through it all. And maybe back then in our minds, we were there for them while they worked through it all, and perhaps throughout our lives without us even realizing it. They were there for us too. My name's Adam, and these are the messy parallels I've drawn between nostalgia and the polychromatic, empathetic undertones in the animated embodiment of nostalgia itself. It's complicated. If you like these kind of videos, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I have several more coming out on Hey Arnold alone, followed by a bunch of other good stuff that was basically my childhood. Did you know they're actually in talks of bringing a full season 6 of Hey Arnold to Netflix? Yeah, I like that shit. So share this video and humble brag about how much better our childhoods were with the good cartoons, the good money. And the more web traffic Hey Arnold gets, the better chance we have of getting a full, brainy backstory I'm serious, that is one of Craig's plans. If you like me and just think my voice is cute, I live stream on Twitch and play hella Pokemon Go IRL followed by late night variety. Lots of movie talks, lots of memes, lots of love. It's good hangs, I promise. Be the first person to ever join chat and say, "Hey, I found you on YouTube," and I might just start making a secret bubblegum shrine of you, baby. Thanks for watching.